I'll see if I end up posting this. How I've been seeing women being abusive towards men with sex. So I already just did the other one. Um, there is women that I've come across now that are having issues with sex because of how they've treated men and how they were acting. And when I go and I looked into some of this, when I looked into some of this, it could seem like the issues with the guy. This is what's happening. This is what's going on. Sorry, I got to find good light here. And then I look into it more. So I have seen women that have gone and started going at their boyfriend saying, what's wrong with you as a man? What's going on? And then I find out that they're wanting to be on top during sex because they want to get power from the guy and control. And then I find out the guy had been through sexual abuse. So this I found out. And I'm kind of going, holy shit. And they go into a fight after, and she's taking shots at the guy, literally right at his dick, like as a man. And I find out, like, I won't get into the abuse, but what the guy went through, and I went, oh God. And so there is guys out there that are being treated like that by women, and the woman's trying to turn around saying, there's something wrong with this guy. When we do this specific position, there's issues going on sexually. Then I find out, wait a minute, is that the guy went through trauma? The issue was coming up because no guy wants a woman to try and, like, she went out of her way to try to take power from him during sex, was trying to do that, was trying to dominate, was trying to take power. It wasn't like this feels good. It was no, in this position, I can try and take power. What do you think the guy is going to do? And how is that fair for the guy? So then the guy turns around, gets yelled at, treated that way, and literally going at, like, his dick, going at, like, trying to go at him as who he is as a man, okay? And then there's the complaints, there's something going on with that guy, it's his fault, this and that. No, it's not. I can almost, if that was, this is the stuff I'm seeing. I've had enough of seeing some of this shit with, like, that same person. I've seen them be sexually abusive. Yeah, because then they're going to turn around and be like, there's something up with that guy. No. And I have seen other women that now have sexual dysfunction because they decided to treat, how do I describe it? I don't want to say toy with, how they treated men. That's what I'll just say. How they treated a lot of men. And then they turn around and all of a sudden they have sexual dysfunction. Yeah. And I have seen women that have gone and thrown out stuff like, well, I don't want to fuck anyone right now. And then I find out how they're treating men. And I start to see more and more of what they're doing. There's women out there throwing sexual energy darts at people. They are trying to merge with people and entangle with, like, their back, their kundalini, trying to fuck with them, trying to touch, like, literally trying to go at people without consent sexually, and just having this attitude of, like, this is what it is, okay? This attitude that, women think, what is it? Thinking they could get power control through sex. It's one thing to know, like, hey, yeah, I can turn someone on, whatever. You don't do it against somebody's will. You don't try and do it without consent, like, psychically, okay? So, like, you would never just go, I'm going to try and connect to somebody's back or mess with their foot or whatever, get at them and try and just turn them on and piss them off. And they feel abused. That's coming back at them. And there's women that are doing this, and I know that they've done this. And I'm seeing this. Women trying to tune in while guys are literally masturbating and just like, we're women, so it's funny. And then turn around and be toxic. I have seen it where women are pulling this stuff or they wanted to literally go and, really get into it about masturbation towards a guy. And then they go and turn around and be toxic towards the guy when he goes and wants to, like, think about them or, I would have to get into this. Maybe I'll do it on YouTube. Because it's, there is a lot of abusive shit that women are doing spiritually and doing sexually too with that they can go around acting like, no, I'm not this and that. And then that's coming out. And I've seen this from a bunch of women now. And when I'm hearing that is happening and I'm seeing that is happening and it being like, oh no, but it's funny because we're women, we're doing this, ha ha ha, whatever. Oh yeah. I had one the other day when I was walking, try to grab my chest psychically, and literally I'm like, what the fuck? Like, oh yeah, like, you think you're going to go and, like, overstep with me and pull that stuff. Yeah. Tried to be in my bedroom. Tried to. Oh yeah. Like different shit that was like really overstepped with me, which I won't allow. And yeah, and I've helped. Yeah. There's a lot of women abusing sexual power. There's a lot of women abusing sex. There's a lot of women that are out there abusing men with some of this stuff. And they are. They're abusing men with it. They are actually doing that. And you're hearing people say like, oh yeah, this is how they are with men, or I can get these guys, whatever it is, their attitude. And now I'm starting to, now that I know the energy, I'm like, okay, what are they doing? I've seen markers thrown over people. I have seen markers thrown on backs, entanglement with feet. I've seen sexual energy darts thrown at people, all stuff to try to just be like, I want to get power over this guy. I want to try this, that. I'm not giving anyone power over me. And I'm not putting up with abuse. Yeah. And this stuff has happened, and I have seen this happen. And I just think that's fucked. I think that's fucked, and I also think it's fucked. Like I did that one last video. I'll see if I released it. I think it's fucked if I'm hearing people talk, say shit about men that like, oh, there's something up with. Okay, I have had, and this happened with Joan Misborg. Okay, fuck it, I'll just say it. Okay, I meet up with her on Vancouver Island. She already slept with another guy before me within 12 hours. We meet up together right away before walking into the one apartment to meet up with we both were going to go in there. I heard her turn and say, all I want is, and then I heard psychically, power. And I went, oh great, that's great. And we go inside. She comes out in a bathing suit. And I was like, oh great. So she's going to want to, obviously she's going, okay, let's have sex. And I already know she just wants power. I had soul loss from narcissists, from narcissistic abuse. Yep. And I'm going, great. So I know that. I know she already slept with this other guy. I actually picked up on it psychically. And now you're trying to sleep with me. And I literally had it at one point where I'm sitting with her on the couch, getting turned on, and she tried to repress and suppress me. She tried to actually control the energy and kind of be like, no, do one of these. And the same trip, like after, I never ended up sleeping with her because like there's more stuff I picked up on around her. And I'm going like, why would you think that I would sleep with you after you had already slept with someone else within 12 hours? You knew I was teaching spirituality online. I know this is about power. When she came out in the bathing suit, it was not, hey, look, hey, you want to, do you know what I mean? Like, hey, look at me in this bathing suit. Oh, no. It was about power and control. That's what the energy was. It was about power and control. In some way, shape, or she was using that. Maybe I'll get into it more. I even picked up on the way she was using her, let's say, using things sexually is not how they were intended. That it was to use for power and control. Okay? As in, like, what's the power control I can get over a guy? How can I get this guy or that guy, whatever? And that means they're abusing sex, and it's not healthy, and they're trying to fuck with men. Yeah. Like, it just felt so, I was standing there when she came out in that bathing suit, and I went, what is this going to do to, like, I was worried about my health. I actually thought that, like, if I sleep with her, like, my health. And if you ever have that, you do not sleep with the person. You do not, you don't do it. And I already talked about how I had soul loss from narcissistic abuse and all this sort of stuff. And I already talked about it on different videos. I'm not like, hey, I'm just going to go in. Like, yeah. When you know spirituality, you're not like, hey, I just want to go and, oh, you've been sleeping with a bunch of people. Yeah, let's just sleep together and all these energies together. And yeah, I have seen her. She had, oh God. The sexual energy, maybe that's what it is. I'll just have to say it of what I've seen because I've had enough. The sexual energy darts she would throw at people. The markers she would try to put above them and below them, try to siphon sexual energy off. Like the level of toxic stuff from her. Tried to, like, she tried on the astral plane. She wanted to see my dick, okay? So this happened on the astral. She tried to lean forward like she was going to give me a blowjob on the astral. And then she's looking up at me. And then she made her hand look like it was deformed. And then she started to make herself look a lot younger. Like her younger self, too young. Okay? And I'm like, oh. And I woke up. Imagine having it that you didn't consent. You woke up to somebody trying to have their face right near your dick. And then they tried to make their hand look deformed. and then tried to make it look like they're going to give you a blowjob. Like, oh, what's your reaction? And the feeling was, this isn't like a, oh, I want to turn this guy on. It was like a, ha, look what I could try to do towards you. I want to see your dick. I want to pull this power and control. So using sex as power and control as harm, yeah. So she has gone and done that stuff. She tried to entangle with me, literally when I was masturbating, and she tried to link stuff towards my head as abuse. She did that in the past couple of weeks. She actually did that, where I literally was laying there, then all of a sudden, it was her who tried to link stuff towards my head as abuse. Okay, actually imagine that, a guy is literally masturbating, or a woman, and then someone tries to link something towards their head to abuse them and harm them. And they knew exactly, obviously, what they're doing. Tried to do projections at me and suggest different stuff at me that was abusive. Yeah. All different stuff, just like abusing the shit out of stuff there. And like yeah. Oh no, there's more with her. There's definitely more. Tried to literally, she was trying to suggest that I go and literally look up a picture of her and then try and turn me on, and then look at the picture and masturbate. This has happened. And then would try to wanted to open a window and suggest it to someone else who is, say, in a spiritual group, to make it look like I was doing that. And then even tried to make it look like psychically, like she had her hands up like this. Like, no, I'm not doing anything with this. And to make it look like I was trying to push something on her without consent, when I wasn't. And I've said it out loud before, not without consent, or no, I don't consent, when I've seen some of this. But tried to make it look like I was doing that. Yeah. So I've seen that. I've seen that from her. Amber Colbert tried to look at my dick in the middle of the night. Pretty sure that happened more than once. Like right in the middle of the night. Imagine feeling like somebody's under your covers, like head, everything, like trying to look at your fucking dick. And I was like, what the fuck? That happened. Tried to lay literally completely naked, psychically beside me sexually. And I'm like, okay, because at the time we're going back and forth sexually or psychically. And I'm like, okay. But later, but then when it gets to the point that the person is trying to tangle with your back and literally fuck with you, this happened. Tries to tangle with your back and fuck with you sexually. Yeah, and it feels abusive. There's a bunch, and that narcissist on Vancouver already said all sorts of stuff she tried to pull. And like I said in another video, she was in the middle of the night waking up to someone trying to connect your back and turn you on, and then they start trying to suggest stuff to you. They start to offer their son up to you sexually, and you go, what the fuck? And she did that like 4 times. She tried to say something sexual about my nephew, who's not even 4 years old. Tried to flash different things at me that was just fucked up. Tried to, words or images and stuff while trying to turn you on. Tried to talk sexy about other people near my throat, to try and then say, madam. She's into BDSM to the point of wanting hooks in your back, like hanging hooks in your back, all like the most fucked up shit, which I'm not. And that is, this is, oh my God. I want people to know the stuff that people pulled. And they tried, and they had tried to pull this towards me. Like, pulling that towards a guy. If a guy pulled any of this towards a woman, do you realize how that guy would be looked at? Do you realize what they'd say? They'd be like, oh my God, he's out there, he's abusing these women, he's doing all this stuff. Oh my God, and it's sexual, and he's this and that. But women are doing this towards guys. Yeah. And yeah. I've had enough. I've had enough of seeing that. Like, you do not go and try to pull something when somebody's saying I don't consent. You do not try and throw markers on somebody's back and try to like turn them on and try and really mess with them and trying to fuck with them. So, yeah, you do not have it. You try to tangle with their foot or foot chakra and try to turn them on sexually and like unground them, try to mess with them. And like what do you oh my God, like what the fuck is going on? They've gone into darkness and started pulling this stuff. This is what's happened. They've gone into darkness and started to pull this stuff. So, yeah, I want people to know this is stuff that was happening. This is stuff that was going on. Yeah. I literally was having to be like, yeah, wait, after like 5-6 hours sleep, waking up, and stuff was like trying to connect you. I'd go to roll on my right side, and stuff was trying to connect me sexually. And trying to like, imagine stuff tried to like just, so if it's your back, okay, trying to not just like, oh, I'm going to suggest it's just like, boom, trying to really turn you on and then start pushing stuff at you. And you're like, what the fuck? Waking up and stuff trying to like literally force something sexual on you, and then quickly review, and they're merging with your sacral chakra and hold while trying to force this at you. And you're like, this is so fucking abusive. And that's women. That's women that have done that. And I just named a bunch of them. That's who they are. That's who they are. And I know what this is going to... Yeah. And I know how they've treated other men. I know one of them, the one in Suk, has lied about being raped by a guy in her past. Yep. She's lied about that. I know Jillian has been abusive with other men before with this stuff. Definitely she's pulled this stuff before. Sexual energy darts, all sorts of stuff there. And I know how Amber's told me some of the shit she said to her boyfriend, and I went, interesting. So women wanted to be abusive with guys and wanted to use sex thinking you're going to have power and control over someone. Yeah. Yeah.